Our limb's looking alright, but those leaves, ugh, autumn. Goeiemorgen mense. Alright, about a month ago I started filming this vid. Decided to scalp / heart of cut reset my roadside lawn so that I could do it along with a few other clients. I actually put it up on Instagram that I was going to embark on that journey back then, just to show you can actually still get a little bit aggressive at that stage in the season. Now you should start slowing down, but back then it was perfectly fine. So what we'll do is just cut to the footage of me doing the scalp and what we learned in the process, and come back to today and summarize everything. Keep in mind that this pertains to Kikuyu and Bermuda lawns in particular. Enjoy. Alright, here's a little experiment for us. This has never been mowed short. So what I did is I just took the mower, which is already set up at 11 mils for the backyard, mowing comfortably, and I just started clipping this, which has been mowed at just over 20 mils. It averages about 25 mils after mows per the use, and it's nice and green all the time. Looks good at a distance, looks okay from the top, kind of spongy, but it's out front, I don't really worry about it. So let's use, this is the example where we just take it down to a heart of cut. So we're using this 11 mils as the example. I'm going to mow it multiple times. I'm going to try and mow it every day or every other day this week, and let's just see how it transforms without taking it that extra couple of steps lower or to the ground. We just sort of accept it as it is, and let's see how much it improves. So that's already been mowed to the first pass at 11 mil. This has been mowed a second time. Look at how much further you go down. That's what I was talking about on one of the previous videos. Your turf density. If you think that you are mowing single pass and achieving the heart of cut that you set up on your mower, you're wrong. You have to go over it multiple times to obtain a true heart of cut to the ground, and that's how you gauge things. So you need to do it multiple passes will give you the correct result. So you guys who are doing the single pass thing, probably the guys who end up with the spongy, especially Kikuyu, first. Alright, we'll leave it at this for today. I'm tired, just 3 passes and I'm still taking off more and more junk, and I'm really starting to get into where it's just, well, it's actually white or brown mixed up with green, so surprisingly full of thatch. So this is, in the past I've bragged about the fact that I don't really have much thatch, and it's because of the areas that I look after nicely, and the areas that are kind of half-assed like this is it full of thatch. I mean, this isn't just woody stalk, but there's a lot of junk that's under there. So there's, well, not terrible, but there's a good amount of thatch there. 2 days later, greening up quite nicely, but it's time to give it another mow over. Just try and get it down as low as possible. So this green up is a good indication that the grass is actively growing. It hasn't started to do anything funky, got plenty of life in it, so it's just a matter of clip it while it's down. Alright, we've got 4 ball passes in, still at 11 millimeters, haven't changed heart of cut at all, and I think I've done 8 bin loads already of clippings, and I'm still cutting a little bit left down. Now I could definitely tell that I was getting more towards that true fill, but there's still a lot of like junk in there, so that junk I think is also what I'm just picking up and filling up the bins with. So what we'll do is just keep mowing like this. I don't know if I'm going to keep filming little clips in between, but about a month from now, let's try and make it 4 weeks from when I started. I will just give you a general update and see what happens. If you embark on a journey like this, you should fertilize sometime in and around that process, just to try and help the grass out a bit. If you don't, it's just going to take longer to recover. You may sustain some permanent damage or damage that will take longer to fill in, etc. So anyway, let's leave it at this. We'll catch up again in about a month. Alright, so this is how we look on the 23rd. You can see there's a lot of leaves and stuff now, and dust and crap blowing around. There's some patches that are looking quite poor, but they are full of green tips. It's just where there was more thatch. You can tell areas where the ground is a bit higher, where you end up scalping a bit more, came out better. Where the dip is created, that has left more thatch, because you obviously weren't keeping it in check quite as often. What I'm going to do now though, I want to try and help this out, is I'm going to fire it up with a bit of NMAX. That's Novatec NMAX, the granular. I'm going to put some out here now, and then we will, so that's the 23rd, and then we'll just monitor it, because that should speed things up quite a lot. Alright, okay, 7th of April. I've got pretty good recovery. From the other side it looks almost perfectly solid. This is me still mowing at, well, now I've just lifted it to 15 mil, but it was 11 mil every mow from when I scalped it up to now. I've got pretty good coverage, but a lot of the thatchy crap that was, thanks for the hooter, the thatchy junk that was in there has stayed. It doesn't just magically disappear, it stays there, so you see it the whole time. Only now when I lift the height of cut will this start to disappear. So just reducing your height of cut is not good enough if you had lots of thatch. Only way to fix this now is to completely scalp it again, which is not good for this time of the year, or to run a groomer through it. That's pretty much the only way to fix it. Okay, so this is current day, 12th of April. Let's look at it from the other side quick. Alright, and now we're looking from our neighbor's side into mine. It's looking nice and green, but I've got to say it's only looking this kind of solid green now because I've lifted the height of cut up to that 16 mil mark. There, the thatch that I left behind in this is an indication that you actually can't just, you know, reduce your height of cut to whatever you want it to be and then just keep mowing in that. It doesn't work. You must go down lower, and I'll show you here in the center. So it looks good, especially at an angle, but look here. When I now look down, this is what it looks like from the top. It's kind of not thin, it's thin-ish. A couple of weeds that have managed to catch the gaps while the grass is open. Please keep your turf density as solid as possible. But yeah, that's it. It's not that great in the middle. The rest of it's actually pretty good. But that's an indication that if you don't go and basically chop it in half, you're going to end up with this visible thatch all the time. So your green will come back. It does fill up. I've proved it here. But you're left with this little bit of a mucky kind of look about your grass. And I think a lot of people see this when they do a bit of a scalp. They don't fully commit, or they don't commit to a really low scalp because they're a little bit scared, or maybe the mower doesn't go down low enough, whatever the circumstances is. And then later on you've got this kind of mucky looking grass. That is because you didn't really clap it as low as what it needed to be done. So that's too much of the sort of thatch, that baseline, that layer of thatch sitting just above ground level. That is what you see the whole time. So if you're going to do this, fully commit. Don't half-ass it, or you're going to have a half-assed result. So to try and summarize this further and make it easy for the context of the video, when you scalp, or when you're about to commit for a scalp, you've got to do just that. You've got to fully commit, just rip off that band-aid. In my opinion, with Kikuyu and Bermuda, just go straight to ground level. However, if your intention is just to try and get a shorter mow, i.e. height of cut reset, you may want to consider a groomer, a proper, like a Pro Tier SVG 500 with a grooming blade on it. When you rip through that grass with the groomer, you're going to do as little surface damage as possible. You'll be able to mow the lawn back down again, and you won't have that thatch sitting staring you in the face for too long. It's going to be the, let's say, the easiest way. It's not the cheapest way, but it's certainly one of the easiest ways. Otherwise, it's rake all that stuff out, or do a height of cut reset, which is at about 50% of where you want to end up. So just different levels of work can achieve the same thing, but using some clever tools will help you along the way as well. Anyway, hope you found that useful. Please remember to like and subscribe, share this with your buddies, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.